It's Newcastle United versus Brentford. This is our first game since coming back from our League Cup triumphs. Are we in the right mindset? Are we in the right mind frame for this game, or are we still drunk off the high from the cup win? Will this season peter out, or can the Toon achieve Champions League success in this final 10 games? Find out here, right here, with our special guest on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Brilliant from Sham. And now Murphy could take on the shot. Fabian Sham
All right. How you guys all doing? Wherever you guys are listening from, whatever you guys are doing, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and I am blessed. And I hope you guys are having a blessed evening, whether you're listening to the show to get yourself to sleep, or you're waking up to the show. You wanted to hear some Toon news, some Newcastle news. You are most welcome. And as always, people are fresh out into the chat. Always so blessed. We have an incredible chat, an incredible growing channel, and we are also blessed to have each other here. I'm so excited to finally be talking about some football with you guys, and just excited for the last 10 games of the season, everything else is going on with the club as well. So for tonight's show, just to let you guys know, and I'll make sure I say hello to the chat, we're going to be doing, obviously, a match preview for the Brentford game. We're going to do a breakdown of the game. And we are also going to be looking at our latest link to centre forward, Liam Delap, in the final part of the show. We're going to have an extensive look at him as well. I personally like him, but I'm seeing some mixed reviews from people on social media and everywhere else. So I'm keen to get you guys first and foremost. Let me make sure I say hello to the folks in the chat. My screen keeps on freezing as well, by the way, guys. So my apologies as well. I hope you guys are well. But I want to be able to first say hello to Aaron Cave. Good to see you, sir. Good evening. I hope you are well, and God bless you. Also, good to see Natalie Wilkinson. You hope you are well. Really excited to see you folks right here on Toon Tactics TV. I hope you guys are having a blessed evening, and I'm really looking forward to doing the match preview with you guys today. So, guys, let me introduce. I'm so blessed to be able to have our special guest on tonight's show. Let me just make sure everything is working, because everything seems to be all right. Brilliant. I'm so blessed to be having on tonight's show today's guest. When I first started streaming and started the Toon Tactics TV, I think he was the first person who got me on their channel, blessed me to be able to come on their channel, and so it's really a blessing to almost 2 years later to be able to invite him on tonight's show. He is not only just an incredible person, very, very generous, but his football knowledge. He actually watches every game in every league in every country. He's certified in that. He'll tell us how many screens he's got in front of him. But I'm super to be able to invite Strasbourg Steve to tonight's show once my screen unfreezes, which is annoying. But I'm be glad to be able to get Mr. Let me get you on the show. Here we go. Steve, how you doing, sir?
Yo, what's going on, man? Thank you for having me on, bro. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. It's crazy. We've known each other like around 2 years. That's wild, man.
Time flies. Oh, yeah. I didn't have any hair then, and I don't have any hair now, but we are here. How you been though? How's your day going?
Good, bro. Good. Just got out of work. But yeah, just chilling, man. Just chilling. So looking forward to tomorrow. Looking forward to tomorrow's game.
Absolutely. And I gotta, hopefully I can get you. I'm already asking to get you back on, because we always do player profiles and player breakdowns, and you, who I know extensively watches like so many games. How many screens have you got in front of you, by the way? I forgot how. I know Terry from the football 6. Goodness me. And so I know you still do your live shows as well. Yeah. And so I'm so keen to get your kind of take on certain players that Newcastle have been linked to. So hopefully we'll get you on. But guys, we want to be able to. And already got a few people asking about Liam Delap. Liam Delap as a backup, says Natalie. Well, let's hold on to that thought. So great question. Aaron came for asking Liam Delap has a 40 million relegation clause. Yes, he does. Don't think it is worth it. Don't think it's worth it considering he's only had one season in the Prem. Think it's very risky. Reminds me of Evan Ferguson before with Brighton. Some really good comments there. I'm going to hold you guys to that. I'm going to come back and make sure I don't forget them. Make sure I star them. And we will use them for our comments going forward. But I want to kick things off with the Brentford game. Steve, I want to first share a couple of things about Brentford. I always like to talk about the opposition first because we do know a little bit about Newcastle, but we'll obviously be talking about things as well with Newcastle. I want to share. So I've got a couple of things I want to kind of break down on Brentford first. So this is very thankfully, when we're talking about a Brentford style of play, they've been very helpful in telling us on their own website about the style of play Brentford, they themselves as a team, as a club, are trying to play. And this is for this year. And I think I used it before when I was talking about one of their players. I think Nathan Collins. Yeah. And we've obviously played them twice this season. We've won one, we lost one. And this is on their website, and it goes into some of the stats and everything else that kind of reveals itself in their stats and how they play. So this is what they're saying. So they were talking about how last year, for instance, they were kind of like, yes, we were a counter-attacking team and we're hitting people in the transition. But essentially this year we want to be have a bit of both. We want to have yes, we're going to stick to our counter-attacking roots, but we also want to be able to have a possessive style of play. And they kind of singled out Mikkel Damsgaard, the midfielder, the Danish midfielder, as the person that would help them do that. So they kind of describe it here. Yeah. Brentford's style over recent seasons has been gradually shifting to a hybrid approach that allows direct football, pressing high on the front foot with a capacity to exert greater control on games, often through spells of possession in their own half. And they kind of noted Mikkel Damsgaard as the person to help them do that because of his ability on the ball and always looking for the forward pass, but also being able to be relatively press resistant and to kind of help them to dictate the play when they can. Before I move on to move on to that, I don't know, Steve, from your perspective, from what you've seen of Brentford, what's your kind of take on Brentford and like, what's your kind of overall impression of them this season?
I feel obviously their website is very accurate about. I mean, it should be, right? I feel like it's super accurate though. Like I've seen Brentford play teams off the park, but I've also seen Brentford sit back and then play teams off the park on the counter. So I've seen them do it both ways, and this has been going on ever since they got promoted. And when they first got promoted, you'll obviously know they had Tony and Mbomo. They started out as a 3-5-2. Now they had an injury crisis last year where they had to kind of go to 4-3-3 because one of their center backs got injured. I think it was Ayer. One of the center backs got injured for long term. I think he'd done his ACL or something. Yeah. And they really had to switch to that 4-3-3. And they've been kind of sticking with it since then. They'll occasionally go 3-5-2, but it's interesting. I think Thomas Frank's a really good manager. I'm not sure if he's more of like a Graham Potter, where it's like maybe the step up, he would maybe not be at the level of like one of the top 6 clubs. Who knows? But just like Graham Potter, he deserves a shot at it. If you want, if you want an up and coming coach, I agree. But yeah, I think Frank is a really good manager, and the fact that he kept Brentford in the Prem with all those injuries. We talked about our injuries last week. I think they had it even worse. And keep in mind, they don't make as much income as us, and not as bigger club. They have the London attraction, but they're competing with other London clubs for that. So
exactly,
it was impressive that he kept them up despite that. So look, I feel like they're very hit and miss. I mean, last time I saw them play was the 2-1 against Bournemouth. They managed the game really well. I feel like they away to Bournemouth, it was before the international break. They were fine with sitting back. They basically wore Bournemouth down, very similar to what Man City did the other day. They let Bournemouth kind of use their energy, use it up, and then they just hit them on the break at the right time and were clinical. And yeah, Damsgaard's a key player for them. Norgaard's a solid, steady 7 out of 10 player, same with Janelt. And then they have the front three, Wissa and Burmo Schade. Yeah. They're all quick. They've all got, tricky feet, turn, glide. Like they're good players, man. Particularly in Burmo, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a tricky team. Like you don't really beat Bournemouth convincingly very often.
No,
and they can pull off surprises, man. They can pull off surprises. And I think their away form recently has been very good as well. I mean, they went away to Bournemouth recently and won. I mean, they've done some impressive stuff. So it's definitely, this is not a given. This is not a gimme game tomorrow.
100%.
If you want to be a Champions League team, then you got to find a way to win. But it shouldn't. It's not going to be an easy game. So, but that's the biggest challenge of playing Bournemouth. They're comfortable either way. They can play possession or they can sit and defend.
Yes, exactly.
The player quality on the day, that kind of dictates their results more rather. And sometimes we've seen with Newcastle United this year at home, sometimes we're not comfortable with teams that want to sit back. And, we struggle to break down teams that do that. So it's kind of who's who of whoever turns up tomorrow. I mean, the game that we lost to them this year, I never really felt we were in that game for much of it. I felt like Brentford really just they played extremely well, scored some great goals, great team goals. They all got natural chemistry with each other as well. These guys have been together with each other for better part of 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So they're good side. I think they're more and I said it when they got promoted, they're more likely to be in an FA Cup final or sneak a Conference League spot than get relegated again. They've established themselves. And I think with maybe some injury luck or just some investment here and there, different positions, they could do that. So, but yeah, this is definitely not an easy team to play.
100%. I couldn't agree. I agree with everything you've said. And they're definitely not a team to be underestimated. And in fact, we're going to go to the stats. Yeah, we're going to go to the stats and to the recent form, and it bears out all that you've said as well. Just want to make sure you get a shout out, Steve, from Aaron Kane. Good to see Steve on the channel. Always talks sense. Love that. Liam Knowles, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. God bless you. Rico, Henry, and Hickey being out is a real bonus. Yeah, that is. Obviously, we're not wishing injure anybody, but obviously it is going to hamper their kind of ability. Their attack build will be missed. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, their attack build will be missed. Tino versus Mbuemo. Yes. Tonali versus Damsgaard. Isak will twist. Sometimes I feel like I don't even need to prep the tactics anymore. The chat, they've all stolen my thunder. But that's exactly. Those are the matchups exactly, Liam, that I was going to talk about as well. And absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head there. Because we're going to be talking about my kind of theory going into the game is going to be almost the battle of the eights in this game. But I'll expand on that. Liam, we will have the possession. We will have to make the most of it. I agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. And finally, Aaron Kane from Burmo Wissa combination is going to be an issue. Yes, but think off the bench, off the cup, win at St. James Park is going to be absolutely rocking. I think we'll have too much for them. And that's what I'm hoping. The atmosphere is going to be crazy. I don't know what you think, Steve, but I think the atmosphere is going to be off the roof.
Yeah, you if you said that team in red and white was freaking Sunderland that were playing in a derby, it'd be like that kind of level. Maybe not as nasty, but definitely like energy level wise, it'll be up there. No, yeah, it should be. And I'm glad that we have because straight off the back of a cup game, sometimes if you have I'm kind of glad the Leicester game is after this game because I don't want to underestimate a team off the back of it. Hell, even if we got like a Man City at home or Arsenal at home,
it could be anyone.
Like I want someone tough so that you have to go into the game serious and focused. Like this is this is our home ground. This is a decent team we're playing. They've beat us this year, and they have the players to hurt us and the manager to do it. So we need to, if we really want to make Champions League and upgrade on the Conference League playoff spot that we got through winning the cup, then we got to earn it. So I'm glad that it's a game that we have to take very seriously.
Absolutely. We have to be on point. And what you said earlier, Steve, about their form, the last 5 games, this is the last 5 games, they've won 3, drew 1, and lost 1 against Aston Villa. And like you said, Steve, earlier, it was a 1-0 defeat. It wasn't no 3-4-0. It was a 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa. I wanted to, before I go into their kind of stats as well, I wanted to also people to see, which I find a bit of a concern for us, but it shouldn't be a surprise. And you mentioned Wisa, Steve, has got 14 goals, 2 assists. Sade is coming on this season a lot more, 7 goals, 2 assists. And what I'm trying to say here is, first of all, is that their goals and their assists and their creativity spread around quite well. The main men, obviously, Wisa, 14 goals, 2 assists. And Mbeumo, 15 goals, 5 assists. Damsgaard, 10 goals, 2 assists.
Mm-hmm.
No, excuse me, 10 assists for Damsgaard, 2 goals. 2 assists for Mr. Sade and 7 goals for him. Even the 2 pivot players in Yano and Norgard. Norgard's got 2 assists, 4 goals. Yano's got 3 assists, 1 goal. Even their centre backs and whatnot,
They're tall. They're a set piece threat because they have good delivery from out wide. They really do.
Yes, exactly. And if I don't know even where to start, but saving their front 4, the goals and the creativity or the assists are spread out so well. That's a worry for me.
Mm-hmm.
For you, from what you've seen, what is it? It goes back to what they've said in the earlier statement that we read, which is they want to be a team that's good on the counter attack, but also is able to be on the front foot. And they talked about Damsgaard being the man to do that. And the guy's got 10 assists and 2 goals. Already screams to me that he's having a good season and that people are the strikers and the 4 players around him are benefiting from his presence.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, because Damsgaard isn't he is that a typical number 10? Because he could also play as like a wing back. He could play out wide, fast. He makes quick decisions. Like I said, a lot of their players, they're very like nifty and they again, it's quick. Brentford are quick, and that's what you got to be when you're like Jesus, like their website said. They're like traditionally a counter-attacking team, and they have counter-attacking players for it, but they're also good in possession. They all got good first touches, decision-making, and all that. So, they've scored. I mean, if you look at the goals scored in the league, they've scored 50 goals. Chelsea at 53, Spurs at 55, Arsenal at 55, Man City at 55, and then Liverpool's above everyone at 69. So, like, they really do have attacking firepower. Only a few other teams in the league have more goals than them. So, look, like I said, I'm glad that we have a serious game because we have to take it serious. We can't rest on our laurels and be like, oh, it's Ipswich or whoever. So
exactly. And I think Eddie Howe will know that as well. Interestingly, I don't know if you know, but I think it was after the parade, they did training the next day at St. James's Park. And that lets me know that we haven't played for 2-3 weeks. I know when the last time we played at home was as well. We need to remember how it is to play in St. James's Park again. Yeah. And I was encouraged by
our home form ain't the greatest this year.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
what
eighth,
have we?
we're eighth in the league in the home table.
I think, and we're kind of even home and away in terms of wins. Like it's like it's not too far apart, isn't it? I can't remember how. I remember the last time we checked, we had like the equal number of wins and equal number of away and at home. Like usually, obviously, it's a lot more balanced towards the home side as well. And I think there's different reasons for that. I think, especially kind of our lack of rotation in our squad,
Yeah.
that's contributed to that. But here's the stats for Brentford. I wanted to kind of have a look at because you mentioned some of these, Steve, as well. Obviously, this is on FOTMob. FOTMob have given them an overall rating of 8th in the league in terms of performance. That's counted all metrics, whether it's goals per match, goals conceded, clean sheets, corners, set pieces, discipline, all these things.
Yeah.
So they've given them a FOTMob rating of 8th in the league. Newcastle, we're Newcastle rated. I don't think we're in the top 8 for them, which is interesting. Yeah, we're 10th. In terms of our metrics, which is interesting to see. But goals per match, you mentioned it. They've got about 1.7 goals per match. So they're scoring nearly 2 goals per match, more or less 2 goals per match every other game. But at the same time, they concede a lot of goals. So about nearly 2 goals per game as well. So I don't know if you saw in your league table, Steve. I know they scored 50 goals. I don't know how many they've conceded this season. Does it show you?
Yeah, they've scored 50, conceded 45.
Wow. So you can see if they just fix it, even if they just decreased it by 5, maybe 5 to 10 goals, they'll be even high.
Yeah.
Exactly. They'll be a lot more high up at the table.
Yeah.
I don't pay too much attention to average possession because I think I think most teams pick the way they want to play. If Brentford want possession, I think they can keep it more or less. But obviously, they're on 48.1%. And again, very low in terms of clean sheets. Newcastle aren't too bad in the clean sheets. I think we're like, let me double check. And this goes towards the fact that obviously they've conceded 45 goals, you've said, isn't it? It's, we're 5th in the league. We've got 9 clean sheets. So that's been a lot better for us. I think we're a more balanced team. I think what they said, I think we are what they want to be this season in terms of having the balance of being a counter-attacking team, but also being able to press in the front foot. Yeah. So I think we're at that stage. Expected goals, they're 8th in the league for that. So again, goes back to their creativity. We've seen, their goals are spread around amongst Damsgaard, amongst Mbuemo, Wisa, all those guys. Yeah. They get shots on target per match, nearly 5 shots on target, Steve. So that's pretty high. Like,
yeah,
we have to be ready. Like you said, you can't take them for granted. You have to do your due diligence with them. Not bad with the big chances created. They're 9th in the league for that. Big chances missed below mid-table, which shows me they probably got a decent conversion rate, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Accurate passes. Go on. Feel free
accurate
to
long balls. Look at those 3 teams, right? What do all 3 of those teams? All 3 of those teams have taken points off us this year.
Yes,
that team has taken points off.
Even West Ham. Are
that team has taken points off us this year. Bournemouth have taken points off of us. Liverpool is Liverpool. Wolves. They almost did.
Yeah, they almost did. And not Man United, but Brighton have. Yeah.
But that top 5, all of them have taken points off of us, and Brentford already have. And that is my biggest concern going into the game. The positioning of Cher and Burn with the pace of Shada, Wisa, and Mbuemo is the biggest. That is my biggest worry. The atmosphere is the atmosphere. We won the cup and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, there's football to be played, and teams that go long against us when especially at home, have caught us sleeping at the wrong times for us. So that's a big worry. I'm not surprised at all to see Brentford at that, by the way. And you might initially be surprised because it's like, well, they play Wissa. Wissa's like what, 5'6" or whatever. Yeah. Evan Bomo. That guy's first touch, by the way, is unbelievable. Yeah. That's why they can go long so much. He's good in the air and stuff, I've seen this guy take flying touches, settle it, and then go.
Yes.
Split second, pass the defense, muscle him off, and then score a wonder goal. I've seen it many times. That is the biggest problem.
No, I agree. His upper body strength is really, really good. And well spotted with the top 5 teams. They've all absolutely caused us huge problems with their direct play as well. Because I think they just think, oh, forget going through their midfield. Tonali, Joe Linton, Bruno, forget that. Let's try and isolate their centre backs. Exactly it. Yeah. They're 10th in the league for accurate crosses per match. Again, I think it's because they're kind of a lot of their plays vertical play. They're still trying to be that possession-based team where those teams typically get corners like Arsenal's and Fulham's and whatnot. But Brentford and Lille are trying to get to there. They're getting penalties, which shows me they're spending time in opposition boxes, and it shows you, well, they're 10th in the league for opposition for touches in opposition boxes. But I think, again, I'm sure it's an improvement from where they were last year. But they're getting penalties from them, and I think it's, like you said, the tricky players that they got in Mbuemo, in Wisa, I'm sure Sade as well. Damsgaard, exactly. All those guys there, they're causing people problems. Corners are not getting too many, but when they do get them, I'm sure they've got the huge centre backs in Aya, who you mentioned earlier. I'm going to talk about Aya a little bit as well. Those guys cause a threat. But this is, in terms of shots conceded or XG conceded, they're 8th in the league. So it's not too bad. They concede a lot of goals. But I guess they're top 8. That isn't great because they're not in good company with this. If we're going to talk about good company or bad company, Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester, Tottenham this year, West Ham, exactly, Spurs, Wolverhampton, Manchester United, Brentford. Yeah, it's not the greatest. You don't want to be in that lineup.
Yeah. Where are we at in that?
Oh, good question. Good question.
I guess we're like 13th, 12th, around there.
Okay, so we're not in the top 10. We have to scroll down even further. Oh, look, we're 17th. Where with your
Arsenal, Liverpool?
Yeah, we're 17th. Not too many teams get joy against us. So, because we conceded 38 goals this season, so it's not too bad. It's, I'd rather be on our end of that table than in Brentford's. That interceptions per match are low. I think it's because they tend to have when they are out of possession, they tend to have I was going to say low block, but then I've seen some heat maps where it's a lot more mid block. I don't know if they've changed that recently. So again, they're still working to be a kind of a front foot side like a Bournemouth, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if they go up in that league table going on next year. 14th for successful tackles per match. Again, that will be again for teams like Man United are up there, which is amazing. But Palace are a front-footed team. All those teams will get lots of so a lot of tackles in. Clearances per match again because they're more or less kind of defending from their box or in their half. They're 3rd in the league for that. Possessions 1 in the final third isn't too bad. They're 6th in the league for that, so they're in good company, very good company.
That again, look at those teams. Click on that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's see if those teams are taking points off of us because that's another concern.
Come on, load up. All right, let's see. So Bournemouth
have
not Arsenal, not Man United.
Chelsea beat us.
They did, but not at St. James's though. Not at St. James's.
Yeah, the League Cup. Yeah.
That's what I'm hanging on to. Not Tottenham. Not Tottenham. That's funny, isn't it? Because Bournemouth, yes, fine, but not Arsenal, not Man United, not
that
Tottenham.
Gap between Bournemouth and Arsenal's crazy. 9 of difference.
I think though, because Arsenal got a really high possession. So the average possession, so I think they're on a 55-60% average possession per game.
Yeah.
So they don't have to win it back as much as Bournemouth do.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be my excuse for Bournemouth. But yeah, Interesting.
I know he's conceded only one. That's impressive.
Only one. So they're pretty precise in their tackling. Saves per match. This is not good company. This is them second
why
in
they
the
concede
league.
45.
Exactly. So I'm almost thinking, if you're not having a Mbeumo and Wisa, where are you going to be in the league if that's the case? 125 saves. You're only 3 less saves than Southampton's goalkeeper, Ramsdale. And then below you, again, is crazy company here. Then there's Bournemouth, Leicester City. Oh my, this is relegation stuff here.
Yeah.
Ipswich Town, West Ham United, and this is where I think Newcastle. I'm beginning to see if Newcastle get the defensive part right, we're gonna, with the players that we have, we're always gonna cause mayhem on the other end of the pitch. Steve, so that's the. I mean, because I wanted to do before I was going to move on to our 2 games that we played against them. I don't know just if you were to summarize kind of like what we're seeing from the stats of Brentford, does it kind of, for you, does it match up to what they've said in their kind of their on their website and what you've seen as well? So it appears to be like very much a creative side, lots of goals, lots of creativity. They're beginning to get a balance between the counter-attacking team and a possession-based team. They're getting that balance a little bit, but also very susceptible defensively. Going in as well. I mean, does it kind of match up from what you've seen of them so far this year?
Yeah, I would say so. I think maybe one of their bigger problems as well is I think Flecken, some days he'll be brilliant, and then other days he just doesn't have. I feel like he's one of the more inconsistent goalkeepers in the league to a very, very high degree. Like I said, he's either brilliant, like I think he's played Man City a few times. Like last year, I remember both games against Man City, he was outstanding. Made like 5 or 6 like of the craziest saves you could think of, but then he makes stupid mistakes against whoever else. Like I've seen it a lot. So I feel like a lot of it depends on which Flecken shows up that day as well. It also probably doesn't help that their center back partnerships with the injuries and stuff is always inconsistent, it seems like. They had obviously a lot of injuries last year, and I think this year they've also had quite a few injuries defensively as well. So that's also probably a part of it. But again, they're doing well I think Frank realizes that the strengths of the team are going forward.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to take away from their strengths and work a bit more on the defense, they're just trying to get the most out of the attack they have, because the attack is the harder thing to do. The hardest thing in football to do is put the ball in the back of the net. That's why you pay strikers and wingers and even attacking midfielders. It's why you pay them the big bucks. It's why people want them. They gravitate towards them. So I feel like that's kind of their deal. But
especially their players, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Mbeumo obviously has been heavily linked to us.
Yeah.
I agree. And I wanted to show, it's not coming on, which is interesting, but I wanted to show the initial game that we played against them when we lost and the changes that we made going forward. I will get it in a moment.
Just go into search SofaScore and type in like Brentford v Newcastle, and then it'll pull up with the games.
That would help, because I wanted to, what I think how Eddie Howe is. So first this is the 4-2 game. Yeah, thank you for that. I would have been spending ages doing that. I wanted to get your take on this. So this is the 4-2 game, obviously, that we lost at the G-Tech Arena. And is it arena or stadium? I want to say arena.
Yeah, G-Tech. G-Tech Stadium. Yeah.
And I know this was a lineup. Obviously, we had a few injuries. Longstaff was playing.
Tonali wasn't. Yeah.
Tonali wasn't playing. That's another key player I'm going to mention as well. And Barnes didn't have a great game in that. He scored, but he had a very up and down game.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is this. So I think, let me see. I wanted to. The big problem for us was. So this is us. This is what ended up being our average position. And if anybody can cast their mind back to that time, I know it was a bit of a way back, but it was a game of two halves.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember if we were leading 2-1 going into the second half or it was 2-2. I can't remember. But yeah, literally it flipped in the second half in particular. This is the main problem that kind of happened to us, which is if you guys already see, let me just zoom in a little bit. So this is our average position from down going upwards. So our goalkeepers at the bottom there. And you mentioned this, Stephen, which is Burn and Shaw and the huge gap in between them and our midfield that was caused here. And if you look here, and this is where all of our problems happen, because just guys, remember that little half space between our midfield and our defense? Then you get Brentford, and who fills that gap? It's Wisa and Mbeumo. You do not want to be in that position against those two guys. And with our centre backs, God bless them, they want us to leak up, but they have their limitations. Yeah. And what else happened in that game was because we wasn't. And I think this. I don't know. I don't think this is an attitude thing. I think it was the kind of the tactical rotations of Brentford. So our press, we didn't know where to press and how to press because they were playing out at the back so well, either going direct, as we've seen the long balls, or mixing it up of people dropping in. And this caused us all sorts of confusion going up front. And if you can see, Joe Linton, Bruno, and Longstaff are literally just huddled together behind our forward lines, but they've left this huge space at the back. Now their heat maps show, Longstaff is pressing on the right side, and Bruno's is trying to do a job going up and towards the same right side as well. So him and Longstaff are kind of huddled together, but also trying to get back as often as he can. But we know that Bruno hasn't got the greatest recovery pace that not every player can. No player is perfect. He doesn't have the greatest recovery pace.
Yeah,
we know that Tonali changes a little, but we'll talk about that. And Joe Linton is off to the left. If you can see his heat map, yes, he spends a little bit of time. So this is why the huge gap was created. And so Brentford just said, you know what, let's go direct, and everything changed from then on. And the other thing I was going to mention as well. Before I kind of get your take, before I move on to the second bit, I was going to show you, Steve, this is Lewis Hall, and that huge heat map is in his half, so he can't press up. Yes, it does show him going forward at times. It was an up and down game, but predominantly he's in our half, having to defend, having to get back and support Burn against Mbeumo, I can't remember who else was on that side, on Mbeumo's side. And therefore, if he's having to go back a lot, he can't go up and support your Gordon, or excuse me, your Barnes in this case. And Barnes has many qualities, but I don't think dribbling is one of them, for instance. So he's isolated. Yeah. He needs a man around him. And therefore, if Barnes is isolated, Isak is isolated. And I think that's why we dropped off in the second half. Similarly, on the other side, if you see, this is Livramento. Is it Livramento 21? Yeah, I think it's Livramento. Look what, this is how he's spending all the time in his half again. What does that mean? It means on that side, Murphy's isolated. And so I think this is where everything kind of faltered for us. So our fullbacks who would like to get forward, because if they get forward, it allows our forwards to tuck in a little bit and kind of play more centrally. So you can get a Gordon playing off Hall. Then you get the midfield joining in, and Bruno gets to push up a little bit, and you can screen our centre backs, because you can have, which is what happens in the second game I'm going to show as well. So if you get our midfield to screen our centre backs a little bit, while the creative players get to go up a little bit and create all types of havoc, that was missed out. And instead, what happened instead was this huge gap in the middle, which Brentford exploited, and this is what caused us a lot of harm. So going forward into the game that we had with them when we beat them 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
Is it this one? Because there's a
Yeah,
couple.
it's that one. Yeah.
Is it that
3-1.
one? Yes, brilliant. Well spotted. This all changed. So if you go back to that heat map, this
Oh,
time
that was the Tonali.
that was the Tonali masterclass, 8.5 there. And when I show you Tonali's heat map, incredible. So Tonali comes back into the fold, and Dubravka's in goal rather than Pope. Was there another change? But Tonali was there, so that was the main change. And Gordon comes back in. So Gordon instead of Barnes.
Yeah.
So this is the average positions. This is us. Right. So this is us going from up to down. And the main thing you can see from here is the gap. There is no gap. Or there is a much smaller gap where Burn is pushing up and Shaw is pushing up. And screening them is Livramento. So the fullback is able to push up a little bit, but his heat map is a lot more balanced. There's a little bit more balance, right? And then the other heat map of our fullback, this is Lewis Hall now. It's a way more compared to what was in the last game. He's spending a lot more time in the opposition half. And what does that mean? It means that Gordon gets to tuck in right next to Isak and gets to cause all sorts of trouble. So he's got the option of going either on the flank, as he did here, or be central, which allows Isak to spread his player across that front line. Allows Bruno to push up. Bruno did a lot of work here as well.
Yeah.
And that allows Murphy to hold the flank as well, to cause a lot of damage on the flanks as well. But the main person that did the main screening is this guy. It's Tonali. Goodness gracious me. This is Tonali's heat map. And if you just even starting from the back here, he does, and I'm going to show a few highlights. He does a great job in screening the back line, in screening Burn and screening Shaw. And this prevented the direct play and actually launched a lot of our attacks. Obviously scored 2 goals as well on top of that. That's what made him magnificent. Because he was able to do that, we had our fullbacks being able to push up. We had Bruno being able to spend a lot more time in the opposition half, joining up with Isak, joining up with Joe Linton as well, who was a lot more disciplined, also better disciplined than he was in the away game. Protecting, you can see him is protecting Burn a lot more as well. So it ended up being a lot more balanced performance. I don't know what your take is on that, Steve, and what you kind of see going forward. Are you kind of anticipating? Are you hoping for kind of something similar, or do you think Eddie Howe might make a few other adjustments as well?
Honestly, I just hope that we take more of a counterattacking approach at the right time. Like, I want us to start out in the game on the front foot and get the early goal, like we usually do. But I feel like we need to pick and choose. Like, we need to. We're better without the ball sometimes, because that a lot of our players' strengths are off the ball. Like, we're very comfortable without it. So, and Brentford at times, they will play possession stuff, so we have to cope with that. All I hope for, honestly, is that we go with our strongest, like go with the lineup that we went with against Liverpool, to be honest. That's what I'd do. I think we kind of have to, because obviously Gordon's injured, so I'm sure he'll run with the same 11. But yeah, again, we the biggest difference, obviously, between the game we lost 4-2 and the one that we won 3-1 was Tonali. And it was at home, obviously. That's the other big difference. But if we have Longstaff in the home game, he don't really score those 2 goals like that, and he doesn't perform like that. So yeah, I agree. I think that was the time when Tonali wasn't like a lockdown starter for Eddie Howe, which is crazy, because that was the biggest thing that people was, and particularly me. That's why I was very harsh on Eddie. I'm like, play your best players, man. Play your best players. Like, this isn't hard to do, because whenever he got on international break early in the year, he played great for Italy, but then he wouldn't be a guaranteed starter for us. And it's like, I don't know, but he fixed it up. And yeah, so I think, again, we need to be very careful of them on the counter. I really worry about us centrally, in the center of our defense. I feel like most of our goals are conceded there. I feel like a lot, like, okay, sometimes like Lewis Hall, I think he's been defensively very good this season. Livramento, still good, not as good as Lewis Hall defensively, but still very, very solid. I feel like a lot of the goals though centrally have been kind of our problem, where Cher wanders off into nowhere, and then Burn, he doesn't have recovery pace like that.
No.
So I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing. I think we're in a bit of problem. We're in problems if they score first. I'll say that.
Do you reckon? Do you think that the first goal sets the pace, and it will set the pace?
Definitely, because the first goal in both of the games we played them this year set the tone for the game. Really.
Okay.
We scored in the 9th minute. They scored in the 8th in their win. So, yeah.
So that's going to be key.
Definitely.
I wanted to show a few highlights from our win to kind of explain why I think this is going to be a battle of 2-8s. Annoyingly, I can't find the notes I had because there was a minute to. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me as I try to flick through and whatnot. But before I do that, make sure I say hello to the chats. Consistent Mag, being always consistent. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. Hi, Philip. Hi to you, sir. And hi, Steve. He's given us an early prediction. Guys, do you send in your predictions for the game? Because we are going to get it. I'm going to ask Steve for his prediction. I'm going to give my own as well. So, guys, do send in your predictions. Consistent Mag FC says 3-1. Isak, Brace, and Bruno with the third. And I think we might just have another parade just for the fun of it. If if we get those type of scorelines, it'd be great. But my initial... Oh, I'm so annoyed because I had it. Because I had... What I wanted to show was... is this me? Is this me showing myself? Let me show... What am I showing here? Let me see. So I wanted to show the highlights. Where are we? Why I think it's going to be a game of 2 halves. So you guys are going to have to bear with me because I did have the timeline stamped out. But the first thing I wanted to show was, so this is us. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. I'm going to be careful with it. I used our highlights this time. So I know Sky will copyright and all that. Yeah. So I'm going to be a bit careful. So the main thing, this is us at the beginning of the game. And I think, again, this is how was, again, very, very intentional from, in terms of kind of raising our intensity and making sure that we kind of set the pace. And I'm kind of anticipating a similar set of thing. So you mentioned, for instance, Shaw and Byrne. Look how high they're pressing up. Yeah. This is Livramento on the ball, but right in front of Shaw and Byrne is who? It's Tonali, and he's screening them to ensure that if there is a break, if we do lose the ball for any reason, he's there to protect them. But the other thing is, obviously, Bruno comes out here, and who's central is Joe Linton. So Joe Linton pushes up here, almost takes like a false 9 position, which allows Isak to go on the left, Murphy on the right here. Yeah. And if you're a centre back, everyone's going to be watching for Isak, obviously, and Gordon. And Gordon's obviously he's a bit of out of shot here, but so both Isak and Gordon are on a particular side there. So you've got them worried about them, but this set the tone. Obviously, you've got a little bit of a 1-2 here. They've created so the shard here has to come out for Livramento because Livramento's pushed up, and now you've got this space that's been created that the Livramento's running into, and you've got Murphy here, and this set the whole thing. They've had to come back. Tonali's obviously here. He's not slow. Then you get now Gordon playing in, and all this time, just
how quickly Tonali did that, by the way.
Exactly.
If that's Longstaff there, it just doesn't come natural to him.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same, and everything changes. Now the whole face of the game changes because you've got 3 Newcastle players. This is Nathan Collins, who we're going to look out for because he's been linked to Newcastle. He's like, guys, Isak, I'm scared. Someone look at Isak. But then you got Joe Linton and Gordon could run, but you also got Lewis Hall here. But this causes all types of problems. Isak gets onto it. Lovely cutback, by the way. Holds the ball up, gets it, holds it. But then again, and I know we don't have too many Newcastle players in their box at this period of time, but we've got enough players at the back here. So this is like a controlled possession every time.
Yeah.
Then we spread it back to Livramento, who started off the move. He pushes on, and this is his ability to travel with the ball. This is why when I was talking about the fullbacks are so important in this game, it disrupts. If you got your fullbacks carrying the ball that far up the pitch, it disrupts everything because then it forces. I think it's Wissa that's, or not Wissa. Is it Wissa that's checking him back? Is it Wissa? I don't know if it's Wissa or Sean.
No, Wissa's in the far right corner.
He's in the far right corner. Okay.
He's
again danger the whole time, but the main thing is he's in their end of the pitch rather than in our end of the pitch, right? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I can see him. Now they've kicked it out, but at this stage, just before Tonali scores that goal, incredible goal, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Newcastle players in their box just from that move, and then obviously Tonali does Tonali things,
power driver,
and absolutely power driver and scores that goal. Yeah. But it was absolutely. But that was the tone that they set. They set, and it was that kind of controlled possession that Newcastle.
That's the save that he made on Wissa.
Yes, that's the save.
That was a big moment in that.
That was huge, and Wissa like dived and stuff like that. That was a good game for Dubravka.
Yes,
I do think Pope's going to play though.
There
was something. Yeah, so we took those scored, but then we also I wanted to show them. These are times where we chose to be direct of our play as well. So it's going to come up in a moment. This is us going just being direct, because this is obviously like Brentford said in their website. Hey, we want to be front-footed pressing team. Okay, great. This is what happens when you're front-footed. You have to be able to cope with this side of things, especially if you do against Newcastle. Because then you've got this type of problem going on. You've got your 3 or 4 centre-backs running the other direction. And this is the worst feeling for most Premier League teams. Gordon, Joe Linton, Isak, Murphy. It is not the position to be in. We'll go absolutely direct. I think it's Nathan Collins that gets back there. Gordon picks it up. But then again, you've got the worst kind of combination for any position to deal with. Does he shoot? Does he play? He makes a choice to shoot here, but fine. By the way, Isak was going apoplectic. When Gordon did this, he went absolutely mad. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Newcastle players in opposition half. So now Brentford are in a lose-lose situation. You either give Newcastle possession of the ball, but they're moving in it swiftly left and right. Their fullbacks are pushing up. They're willing to go past. They're willing to, either dribble past or travel with the ball, which again disrupts your defensive lines. So therefore, to avoid that, you want to push up and push their fullbacks back. You do that, then Newcastle just go direct, and then you're going to run against Gordon. You're going to run against Isak. You're going to run against Joe Linton, and it's all of a problem. So you're going to say something. We're going to say something, Steve.
No, I was just going to say about Gordon there. The fact that he's, yes. I feel like last year's Gordon, feel like he might have taken another touch with the right and then slotted it with the left.
Yeah.
I think Gordon's been good this year for stretches and then not so good for some stretches. I am kind of curious to see if this break that he's kind of has now will be a good impact, because I think he's still out for.
So go on.
I think he's out for this game. Yeah.
For this game, he was suspended. Wait, I suspect he's fine. This is just me.
Yeah.
But I think Hal wanted to avoid talking about his suspension.
Yeah.
So he just said, he's injured. That's just me. And I think Hal's a clever guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is the other part I wanted to show before I kind of move on. Was this is the key, and I think this is where Tonali is so different to a Sean Longstaff. And this is me kind of poo-pooing on Sean Longstaff. I still love him as a player. Everything's done for the club, but this is just a little bit of a difference, and why this game was so different to the game where we lost 4-2. It was because of this. It was obviously Tonali not only did the scoring and kind of creative part of it, but it's this part. And this is why I call it the Battle of the Eights. So Brentford, I'm about to show Brentford about to go direct. We're pushing up, we're pressing. The ball comes loose, and Brentford are saying, "Great, this is our opportunity. We're going to go direct. We're going to try and isolate their aging centre backs against our tricky forwards." So they're about to go direct here. So they launch it. So you've got Burn and Shaw at the back here, but then you've also got Tonali. Tonali screens them, catches the ball early, right? So, and I know it's a simple thing, but it didn't happen in the first game.
Yeah.
Tonali cuts it out because he's got the athleticism to do so. Not only does he cut it out, because he's Tonali and he's the captain of the Rossoneri and he's the captain of the Italian team.
Yeah.
He then makes a great decision, passes the ball out to Murphy, doesn't stand still, continues to push up. And this is a problem because now you have to track him back. And the Brentford, I don't know who this is, just behind Tonali, doesn't track him. And again, you've got Isak. I think it's Bruno and Joelinton here, and you've got Gordon. This is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad if you're an opposition team. And this is why I call it the Battle of the Yates, because although Damsgaard, Vanel, Norgard are incredible on the ball, especially Damsgaard, they're not I'm not saying they're slow, but they're not as athletic as your Tonali, as your Joelinton, as
Damsgaard's the most athletic out of those.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, exactly. So Tonali is just cut out, folks remember, Tonali's just cut out the ball in his own half. Within, less than 3 seconds, he's in their half.
Yeah.
Right? This is what you can't, this is very hard to defend against, and you need really effort. And now, with one ball, Murphy's there, a little bit of a bad touch. No, it's a great touch from Bruno. Great 1-2 and now Bruno's already up there, because Bruno doesn't have to worry about defending because Tonali's there. Right? So Tonali, guys, again, Tonali was just like 5 seconds ago, Tonali was in our half cutting out the ball. He's now doing a 1-2 with Bruno in the opposition end. They do a 1-2 in the opposition end because they're just great. 1-2, unlucky there, passes it back to Isak. I think this results in a shot. Oh, unlucky.
That's a really good save.
That was, exactly. Exactly. So, but do you know what? I don't know if do you know what I mean, Steve? Like he's just just cut it out, drives with it, but doesn't even drive it, just drives with it, gets the ball off to Murphy. Murphy joins. Bruno's already still stays on the other end because he's like, oh, Tonali's there, great. I don't have to do the screen anymore. I can be in the other half, being creative. Does a 1-2 of Tonali in the opposition box and gets off the shot. And I just think, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm hoping. What I'm essentially saying, I'm hoping for something similar.
No, Tonali's run. And you know what? All that is run power.
Yes.
Run power, athleticism, and technique at speed.
Yes.
That's all, and then the shot as well. Like, and that didn't count. Like, if you want to show a play, if you want to describe a player and to somebody that never seen him, you show them not just that highlight, but more. But like, if you wanted just one play, what's this guy about? That's what it is.
Yes,
that's what it is. Because he can do things so quickly and proficiently as well. It's not rushed. He's 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
Yes,
that's the thing. He sees this coming, and he knows he can do it when he goes past that halfway line, because he just has that level of football. He's an absolutely phenomenal player, and that is super important to have those kind of players. So Tonali's gonna be huge in this game.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm hoping a bit of that. I'm hoping that we're going to have a bit of that. So before you give your predictions, Steve, and I want the chat to send their predictions as well, I'm going to show one more thing, a little bit more the stats and data, kind of to help you to add some precision to your prediction. I want to say hello to the chat because I know they're shouting out folks as well. Send in your predictions, guys. And see Niak, I think it's your first time. It was my first time seeing you in the chat. God bless you. Thank you for coming on. Sup, Steve-O? Is that someone that knows you, Steve?
Yeah. One of my guys. Chelsea fan. One of my
Big
American
up.
buddies.
We've got another Chelsea fan that comes on here, Bobby Fairview as well. Fantastic, guys. That is yourself. Where is it? Aaron Kane, 4-1 with Barnes, Sandro, and Isak to score. I would love that. I love these confident score lines here. The Mats channel, hi from Steve's contacts. Big up to you guys. Welcome to the show and God bless you guys. Consistent Mag of C. I think it was Fabio Carvalho running back. That's who it was. Was running back to prevent Tino from passing in the box, and he wasn't working. And again, it comes down to athleticism as well. Because Carvalho, I'm sure, is good on the ball, but I just don't see him being able to catch Tino with the ball or without the ball, to be honest with you. But well spotted there, Consistent Mag. Appreciate you for Tonali's first. Yes. Aaron Cave, Tonali is so complete, can do everything. I agree. And I kind of see Newcastle, obviously we're building our team around Isak at the moment, just by force of his talent at the moment. But I think
he's our most. We're not a one-man team.
No,
I think our most important player, though, like if you when you take Rodri out of Manchester City, you see a different Man City.
You see what happens.
If you took a Van Dijk out of Liverpool or a Salah or whoever out of Liverpool, you notice the biggest drop off. If you take, this year Real Madrid at times without Kroos, without that control, and if your most important player is a midfielder, you're in a good spot. If your most important player is a goalkeeper or a forward or a defender, that means that you're relying on them the most. Football's won and lost in midfield.
Yes.
Most time, eight times out of 10.
Yes.
So if your most important player and your biggest strength of your team is your midfield, you're in a good spot.
I agree.
You think of Liverpool, some of their better players of the season, the most important ones, yes, Salah and Van Dijk and Alisson, but without the midfield, Gravenberch, McAllister, those guys, they're different team because of the drop off. So, but yeah, Tonali is, I'd argue he's our most important player.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, but I'm glad, like you said, like we've got so many players. We're not a one-man team, but we'll feel the effects. We do feel the effects of Tonali, and I think he was the key to this victory. Adrian Pickett, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Who is the Brentford 8 that's going to test Sandro's mettle? It's either going to be Norgard or I'm going to get his name wrong. Yano, that's it. It's going to be a hard time for them, especially if, like we see what we see in this game. If Joe Linton and Bruno start taking up centre positions, if our fullbacks start pushing up, it's all problems. It's all problems. All problems. But it takes intensity. It takes a mentality. You have to start off right. Brentford aren't going to come there to lie down. So, guys, before I get Steve's predictions, make sure you guys send in your predictions. Steve, I wanted to show you this. I'm sure you've seen it before on whoscored.com. Before I get your predictions, so essentially, they've got the per match statistics for every team. So they've lined up Newcastle and Brentford, right? So this is Newcastle stats at home, and this is Brentford stats away, because obviously they're the away team. So predominantly, Newcastle at home score about 2 goals. Brentford score 1. Newcastle at home typically get 15 shots per game. Brentford get 10. Away from home, this is away from home for them. We pick up a couple of yellows or whatnot. We get about 6 corners on average. Brentford pick up 4. We get quite a few fouls, which I don't mind, because I think it probably puts that. I put that down to our intensity in our game. Mm-hmm. Aerial duels, interestingly, will be about 50-50 or whatnot. So that's going to be that's interesting. Possession is interesting. We don't to dominate possession too much. I think we will in this game. 49 to us, 45 to Brentford. Pass success, we're not too bad, 82, 79% for Brentford. And we typically play quite well at home. Brentford aren't too bad playing away either. So from that, did I miss anything? Goals per game. Oh, this is the overall stuff. They're pretty balanced. Brentford on the right, on the blue. They kind of got the attack from the left, from the right. Pretty balanced in how they do things as well. So, Steve, with all that taken into consideration,
Yeah.
what's your predictions? What's your score predictions for the game?
Well, start off with the basics. I think both teams will score because both teams have very good forwards. Albeit we're missing one of our better ones, but Barnes does as much as he does. He's not the best dribbler or whatever. He is good for those 1-2s, and he is a very good finisher in and around the box.
Do you think he had a good final? Do you think he had a good final? Do you think he had a good game in the final?
Yeah, I think so. He played. Yeah. He played his part. He arguably should have scored in like the second minute, but
yes,
he's very good at holding the shape. Worked hard, and I thought he had a good game overall. It wasn't like super impressive, but he played his part.
I think he's getting it. So obviously we had the ugly win against West Ham the game before.
Yeah, he was good. That assist.
He was good. He was good. And he was. I think he was loving it, taking up the central position.
Yes.
And then obviously in the final he did that a little bit more. And I think he's built up a relationship with Livramento. I think Livramento helps him a lot because, like I said, I don't think Barnes is a dribbler. He can take on, so he can take the ball from 5 meters, 10 meters up in a straightforward line, more or less. But don't ask him to get back, drop a shoulder, and he
You know what it is with Barnes? You know what it is? You know what it is with Barnes? I feel like if you looked at his youth team career, I feel he seems like he looks like a player that in his youth days played as a striker.
Yeah.
And then someone said, go out wide. Like McTominay, as an example.
I like the tape.
Played as striker. He played as a striker in the youth academy, but then first team opportunity, he's like a midfielder. But if you look at his goals and like movement, crash in the box, and like the instinctual finishing, you could see it like, oh, that guy looked like, he played as a striker. Because Barnes, his best attributes are his finishing instinct.
Yes.
Sniffing out a chance.
Yes.
And picking a corner with a finesse. Like the runs he makes. He's good with the 1-2s and stuff, but you're right. Like he's a goal scoring winger. But I bet if you put him up top, I bet you'd actually see probably him at his best. I would guess that during his youth he was playing as a striker of some kind because he looks like one.
Yeah, I think he's loving playing next to Livramento because Livramento likes to push up. He likes to let me do the dribbling. So it's a bit different to a Trippier who's better with the passing.
And the crossing,
or the crossing and the passing. But I think Trippier will prefer to pass down the line and let you do the work if you can. Well, I think Barnes, he will take the ball, but he'll prefer if you can just take the ball up and I can push up a little bit central and take the ball outside the penalty box. Don't ask me to do get past one or two players. Excellent. I love that take. That makes a lot of sense. He probably was a striker and someone said, can you go wide, please? And everything took off from there for him.
No, because his goals look like striker goals.
Yes.
His goals look like striker goals. Yeah.
Yes, every time. So you were saying I interrupted you. So you were saying start from the basics. You think Brentford will score? You think we'll score? Like in terms of prediction?
Yeah. So I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 because I do think we still have enough in attack to get it over the line. Like I said, it won't be an easy game. I think it'll be a bit back and forth at times, but I do think we have enough in midfield to get it over the line. And goalkeeper as well. I think that's, again, with Flecken. You'll either get a brilliant version of him or a not so good.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
I'll go 2-1, Newcastle.
2-1. So it's an interesting one for me because people have been talking about, I'm going to give my prediction is, this is another challenge for Newcastle for me. I've set different expectations for Newcastle this season. I'm going a long way. My prediction. My camera going in front of you.
Oh yeah, camera went. It's all good. Make sure you smash up the likes, people. By the way, get any questions?
Yes, please. Let me see if I can. Let me just see if I. What I wanted to say was.
Oh, he gone. They'll be back in a minute. Should have kept that shirt as our. Oh, you're talking about Philip's shirt? Yeah, that blue one. I do like that blue one. So we got 4-1 Newcastle. That'd be hella impressive. I can't lie. 4-1. I think Philip's back. You back? Maybe. They'll get there in a minute. Technology, man. But yeah, get your score predictions below, people. Your score predictions below. I think he's back.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, my camera's all funny, but fine. I was gonna say, I had lots of I'm going a long way around to give my prediction because I had a lot of challenges for Newcastle this season. Because I said, can we get 64 to 68 points, semi-finals and finals? We've done beautifully in terms of actually winning and getting into finals and stuff. So excellent. Yeah, that's another challenge. This ain't Newcastle anymore under Steve Bruce trying to survive relegations and stuff. We've got the other challenges now when I say reach the top, I don't mean Champions League. I get that. I'm saying for us, we've won. Now we've won. We've had the massive parade.
Yeah.
What's our mentality now? How can this team, which hasn't been used to winning for 70 years, hasn't been used to winning? I know the team is different. Obviously, you've got winners amongst them. Your Isaks, and this maybe answers my question actually. But a club that's not used to winning now has one. But you've got a game now. After the parade, after 400, 300,000 screaming Geordies, Newcastle fans are incredible, by the way. And how do we respond after the drinking? That must have been doing. And the clubs, the players have been doing. What's our mentality now? Are we going to see the game? Are we going to see our season fizzle out? Are we hungry for more? I think this game's going to show that. I think this game's going to show us where they're at. I'm hoping, because they've been proving us wrong all this time, that we're hungry for more. And so,
your things. I can't hear you. Oh yeah, now it's going mad. Oh, now it's going mad. Yo, unplug. Hold on. Unplug your camera. Yeah, Philip's thing's going crazy. Aaron with the question. Steve, you see any players from Europe you see Newcastle going in for the next transfer window? I think this is players that I think Newcastle will look at, or players that I would want. I think you're back. There you go. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Go on, answer the question. He was going to answer the question.
Players from Europe you see I think we'll go for obviously a right winger. I think we'll go for center back and probably another midfielder. I think they might trust Pope another year, even though I personally think we should upgrade on the goalkeeper position, because if you look at title-winning team, I'm talking Premier League and Champions League winning title teams, when they upgrade on their goalkeeper, you notice it, and they take a step up. Like Liverpool with Alisson is the prime example.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Players that I think we'll look at, I wouldn't be surprised if we looked at a Coney de Winter from Genoa for center back. We're looking at Bakayoko from PSV at right wing, and Bomo. The goalkeeper from Lille, Lucas Chevalier. Man City are looking at him, so I think they'll probably get him because I think Ederson's going to move on. But those are kind of the players I think we'll look at. But I do think we're fine on the And also probably backup striker. We need one of those as well.
Speaking of,
Need one of
you
those.
stay with that's a great segue. I'm going to get onto that. So I think Newcastle can win 4-1. And I think I'm going to go for that. And it's partly because I saw Adrian Pickett say it as well. I agree with it. I do think we're going to show him. I'm hoping that I'm leaning towards the side of us coming out and saying, no, we're here for the Champions League now. And we're here to have the best season. I think both of us can say this. If Newcastle win, get into the Champions League on top of winning the League Cup, I think it's the best season I've ever experienced as Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, it already is.
Yeah,
yeah. So, it would make it a cherry on top. Yeah.
It will be the cherry on top. So I'm going to back Newcastle for one. Couple more chats before we get onto that player, that striker that Steve was talking about. Salute to the panel from Mobbase. Is it Mobbase? I can't see it. Mobbose. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. Is that from someone from your channel, Steve?
Nah, honest, I don't think so.
Welcome to the channel, regardless. Okay. Welcome to the channel, sir. Hope you are well. Folks, do like, share, and subscribe as well. Is it Antagonizing Jordan? Good to see you. It solved all our problems playing Tonali in that 6th role. In Bruno plays better than it's like that was beautiful. It's like having a toothache and then getting rid of it. So I don't know, we're going to the dentist or whatever, and it was amazing. Adrian Pickett, I copied your scoreline. I agree with you. 4-1. Mateus, because the Mateus
will be the 8. Yeah. He'll be the 8 that covers.
Right. Yes. Brilliant. Right. So we talked, and this is, guys. Thank you for sending your predictions. Do continue to send them in. We've given our predictions. Steve's going for a 2-1 to Newcastle. I've gone for a 4-1 to Newcastle. Do continue to send those comments in. And any other questions you have for Steve, like I said, incredible knowledge Steve has, not just in Europe, but players, leagues across the world as well. So do continue to send in your questions for Steve, and just in general, strikers, backup strikers. So we've been talking a lot on this show. You might not be aware, Steve, but we've been talking a lot about transfers and everything else. So on today's show, I want to talk about Liam Delap. I want to talk about this man because he has been linked to us. So let me so I'm going to read a bit of a player profile from him and get your take especially as well on what you think of the player. And I'm going to read a couple of interesting scouting reports on him. But first, so he's been linked to us. I know I've got the Mirror here, but predominantly he was linked to us through the Daily Mail. I forgot who the journalist was. I don't know if it was Craig Hope. Maybe Craig Hope. But anyway, essentially, he's got a £40 million release clause. Mr. Delap does if Ipswich get relegated, but there's about 4 or 5 other teams that are essentially in for him, including ourselves, Man United, Chelsea. I think Man City got a buyback or a sell-on clause. Excuse me, is it a sell-on clause or a buyback clause? It said here, Kieran Maguire. So Man United will be keeping an eye on Ipswich Town's season, how it ends as Liam's bargain deal emerges. Where is it? So we're there. Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle all keeping tabs on the 22-year-old striker, with Man City also having a buyback option. I doubt they'll take it, but it's there for them if they want it. So he's got a lot of options. And Newcastle have been linked to him. Let me see quickly on transferwindow.com just to get a little bit of background on him as well before I get you in on this. Yeah, he's got a whole load of trophies there, but it's with Man City, and we know that he wasn't there,
right.
winning those trophies. But he on the 21 level, he does have an 18 English Youth League winner, and that's twice. Also, under 21 Premier League champion as well. So he's got pedigree, right? He's there. Also top scorer as well. He's got pedigree. He turned 22 in February of this year. He's from Winchester, England, so up north. I wanted to say this. I don't know if you see his agency, CAA Stella. Do look out for this because Newcastle seem to have a relationship with this agency. And I heard this like a couple of years ago, but there's a lot of players that we're linked to. I tend to have a little bit more emphasis on the players that have this agency, which he's linked to.
Okay.
So that's my little bit of a conspiracy theory. But it's not really conspiracy theory, but I'm like, okay, interesting.
Detail you noticed.
That's it. Details I noticed, exactly. So he's 22, centre forward, who can play on the right, but he is a centre forward in everything. He's 1.86 meters tall, so that's about 6'2", 6'3". Also English-Irish heritage, attack centre forward, right-footed. His contract expires in 2029, but we know now that he has a release clause. Now, transfer market have valued him at 35 million euros, so it's about 30 million pounds.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he has a 40 million pounds release clause. So teams generally tend to. Transfer market has a really good, I think, finger on the pulse on the actual valuation of players. And players tend to get sold for about 10 to 50 million more than that valuation, which is, happens especially when there's competition. So I like their take on players as well. He obviously, like I said, he was an academy player initially at Derby Youth. So that's in 2019. What's that, 6 years ago now? He would have been like 14, 15, whatever, before going on to Man City at Man City's under 18, working his way up through their academy, where he also played for Stoke City. Then Preston, was loaned out to Preston, and then loaned out to Hull. We had a good season as well there, before then obviously getting sold to Ipswich, where he's had a very good season in terms of goal return. In his first year as a senior player in the Premier League, he's played overall 2,249 minutes. That includes cup competitions, but in the league, just over 2,000 minutes as well. 28 games, 10 goals, 2 assists. So it's like a 12-goal contribution in 28 games for a team that's in the relegation. Yeah. That's not bad. That is not bad. I wanted to show a scouting report of him when he was 17 years old.
I like this guy's page. What's his name?
Oh my God. I think it's Uslig. This one, Uslig, right?
Yes. Football scout.
Jacek Kulik. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
It's brilliant.
Yes.
So I wanted to get his under 17 scout report because I feel like you get the raw player from that. I know players, obviously, this is 5 years later now, so it's developed. I feel like you get the raw player of who he is. Before I go through it, though, give me your kind of when you first heard Liam Delap being linked to us. Like, what's your kind of initial kind of overriding take on Liam Delap and your thoughts on him?
I like the player. I definitely think like he could be like England's next, at least decent number 9. Because I do think England going into the World Cup with Kane next year, that's probably his last major tournament with England. Maybe he could go 2028, but regardless, so Delap is definitely in that conversation. He's definitely like physically he looks the part, no doubt about it. I think he thrives in chaos. I would say that much. I do feel like at times we're very chaotic, and I feel like personality-wise and the way he plays the game and whatever, I think he fits that. However, sometimes composure is necessary. I do think he needs to work on that a bit. That's probably my biggest criticism. But overall, like technically he's good. Powerful finisher, I would say.
Yes.
Like he gets clean contact on the ball.
Yes.
I do like him a lot, and I would definitely take him as a backup. And I kind of trust Eddie Howe with strike. It's something I pay attention to with managers.
Yeah.
Like I look at Inzaghi ever since he started managing Lazio in 2016 and now up to Inter. He's worked with about 10 strikers, about 7 of them. They're completely different, Lautaro, Correa, Thuram, Immobile. Like there's tons of different, almost all of Arnautovic, almost all of them have had like really decent seasons in different formations against different teams, different years, etc. So I look at like Inzaghi. If I give him a striker, even a bang average one, I think he can get a lot out of him. Eddie Howe has a good history with strikers.
Yeah.
His managerial career. He has more hits than misses. Unai Emery. Unai Emery is another one. You give him a striker, they have a high chance to succeed. So I feel like with Delap, I feel like this will be a good signing because I trust Eddie to develop him given his track record with strikers.
Yeah.
So would it be the best move for Delap in his keep in mind, he's 21, 22. This is a crucial part of development. 17 to 23 is the most important part of a professional footballer's development. Because you see the guys that are young and talented, if they get the appropriate, not too much game time, like a Dele Alli, but not too little, then you'll see the player mature or not mature based off of those 6 years. So I feel like for Delap, he's almost at the end of it. I feel like we have to play him a lot to keep that up. But yeah, I would definitely go for him. I think it gives us a different profile to Isak as well, which is important. And that's something that Eddie Howe does a lot throughout his career. He's had different types of strikers because he likes to switch it up. So I would take him. And I think 40 million, that could be potentially very good business. Paul Mitchell knows what he's doing with recruitment as well. So if he has a good feeling about it, then I see no reason why not to trust him. Again, 10 goals for Ipswich in the Premier League, not too bad. I think his all-around performances pretty good. But yeah, it's not my first choice. I like Kalimuendo from Rennes. I like Jonathan David on a free, albeit that would be about 30 some odd million with wages and signing on fee. Right. So I think link-up play that he offers is brilliant. I think David offers it health as well. David's been injured for like 4 or 5 games in his whole career in a very, very physical league where you need to be durable in Liga. But yeah, guys like that, I'll take a Delap. I would take someone like trying to think about the strikers I really like. Who do you like? Because I named 3: Delap, Kalimuendo, David.
So I was actually going to compare him, Liam Delap, with some of the strikers we were linked to a little bit later on Scorecard because he's got good comparisons. So I was going to compare him to Thierno Barry from Villarreal. Yeah, Villarreal.
Yes.
I was actually going to ask you for your views on Thierno Barry, but I was going to say hold that thought. I want to hold that thought because we're going to do that a little bit later, but that'll be interesting comparisons there. And I've got another question, but I'm going to ask you at the end because you talked about he's coming to the end of that part of his development, 17 to 23, 22 now. It's in that final year because now he's got a question to ask himself with all these teams around him.
Yeah,
Man United, Newcastle, Chelsea, all Liverpool different clubs.
Well, want Delap, I think.
Okay, that's interesting. Liverpool as well. So all different clubs are all different stages, like in terms of where he would fit in and what he would do. I'll put it out there for you to think about as I kind of read the scout report. For his development, his final year of where he wants to be at. If you're him, and bearing in mind obviously his father's also Rory Delap, who's known to the Premier League, obviously, as well. If you're Liam and if you're Rory's his father talking to him, and all these clubs have now come up with offers to you, and you can go to either or, which club would it be? So I'll let you hold that thought. I know we're biased Newcastle fans, but I think you're quite objective as well. So I'd love to get your take on it. But this is Liam's scout report from when he was 17 years old, folks. So this is about 4 or 5 years ago. I wanted to use it because I feel like you get the raw ingredients of what Steve was talking about, of someone that's developing now, but is now at the final year of where they're going. And I feel like this gives us a good take on who he is. Remember, he's won under 18s Premier Leagues twice, as well as under 21s, top scorer. So he sounded like the bee's knees. At least he was pretty good in those formative years. He was 1.85 meters in tall, so he's grown a centimeter since then. So he's pretty much hitting his height by then as well. He was, I forgot to read his international record, but my assumption, Stephen, you might know more, is that he's probably worked his way through the ranks of the England, so under 17s, probably even younger, under 15s are going up. I'd have to go back on transfermarket.com to see it. But so he's there, obviously preferred foot is right. They see him very much as a centre forward.
Yeah.
None of that forward stuff like CF, like straight up, like a striker guy. No playing around.
I like the Dzeko comp, you know.
Okay. What do you think of that? Do you think that's accurate? Do you see it that way as well?
Yeah, similar stature, similar types of goals they score, similar. I think Dzeko was not as physical, but he was physical enough. I think Delap probably has like the edge on that, but he's very smart. Like Dzeko, and by the way, what a freaking player Dzeko was.
Yes.
He's won leagues everywhere. He's still going. So shout out Dzeko. One of my favorites. Super underrated striker. But yeah, I kind of like that comp. I do kind of like that comp.
Okay. Love that. Strengths, finishing, you talked about that. Instincts, very strong. Off the ball, very, very important for us, off the ball movement. And it's not surprising.
He fits like a glove. No question. Yeah.
Especially when you're playing for Man City, like you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that in your DNA. So yeah, and for us, it works as well. Heading very strong. Link up play very strong. I've read different various reports where it's not. No one ever says it's poor or anything like that, but they've either said it's functional or just good enough. So I think it. I don't know if that depends on what team he plays for, I guess, essentially is what I'm saying. So I'm interested to see that technique.
You gotta keep in mind as well, like you said, this is when he was 17. And you said he grew a full centimeter. Your body, when you grow as a body, you gotta adapt.
Yes.
So his link-up play maybe was better when he was younger because he was whatever. Who knows? But yeah, it makes sense. I think his link-up play is decent. I think it's decent. It's not like a massive strength of his, but what he does do is the ball sticks. I will say that.
Yeah, exactly. Technique strong, athleticism strong, pace strong, ball control strong, no significant weaknesses, style of play, complete forward, which is, again, actually, they also see, like Isak is often talked about as a complete forward.
Yeah.
And now, complete doesn't mean you're exceptional at every level. It means that you're well-rounded, right? That's what they're coming off as. So it's tall player of good body mass ratio, physical power, stamina, natural fitness who feels comfortable in contact situations. We've seen that. Powerful, determined forward with a killer instinct at 17. Interesting technique on the ball and cleverness at his off-the-ball movements. Good agility, coordination, and pace for a player of his size. Likes to shoot at every opportunity he gets. So we've seen that now, even as a 22-year-old. Generates many flick-ons or passes to the channels for his teammates to utilize. So that's part of his link-up play I think they're talking about. And I think you can do that when you play for Man City. I think you can do that. Possesses a very impressive mid-range and long-range shooting, and that's actually carried on. So the scout reports in his whole days and everything else, he's carried that on.
Yeah.
Capable of holding up the ball, capable of holding up the ball for teammates to provide them with assists when playing with his back to goal, which is important for us. A good ability to connect with the midfield. So I think, especially with Newcastle, talking about a team that can counter-attack but also be able to be good in possession, you need your type of players especially with your forward line. We've got Isak. I think if Kalimuendo was 5 years younger and fitter, he'll be better at this and had a better touch. No, he's got a decent touch. But I think this is why we're looking at a Delap, for instance, because he's able to have this. He allows us to do that. Great sense of positioning while receiving through balls. Yes, that's important for us. Knows how to use his body and shield the ball from defenders thanks to his technique, strength, and ball control. Able to sniff out a goal in any situation. Often moves deep into midfield and drawing defenders with him in order to create and exploit spaces for his teammates. Interesting. Aerial threat in opposition boxes. Indirect set piece threat. They give kind of some diagrams of this as well, what he's doing. And I also mentioned he's best suited playing at centre forward in 4-3-3. I can name.
Okay.
There's a team in black and white that play the North that do that, so they've got him directly central. So he's very, very suited to us, essentially. I wanted to show a couple more things on his profile. This is now, what year is this? I think this is now him at Liam Delap, 2024. So last year, yeah. So he's progressed. Obviously, he's £15 million. He's gone to Ipswich. They've seen him as Delap has always been a favourite of mine, a mainstay of one of City's best ever academy teams. So he played alongside Cole Palmer, James McAtee, Romeo Lavia. So he's come from that era of players, right?
Yeah.
Doing really well, running in behind. That's a big thing. And this is the part that I think this is very important for our style of play. Know what you think, Steve, is the ability to run in behind, to have this sort of pace. We see Isak being able to do this as well as being able to hold up the ball. I think this makes a team, especially our team, the way we play, sometimes in transition, very, very dangerous.
Oh, your camera went again. I'll be back. Oh, you're back. Oh, maybe not. Delap has physical gifts. Yes, definitely. That build combined with his running power. Definitely. You there, Philip? Get there in a minute. You there? Gotcha. You good. You good. I see you.
Crazy. Yeah, so running behind, excellent. What we need. You talked about his shots power. They talk about that's carried on again. Full leg, and this is they talk about his technique about it. Hips provide a lot of shot power, full knee extension to maximize his shot power. This is why I still got a mid range and long range shooting ability. No flimsiness of his ankle while shooting. Like everything is like, if you just see him here, he collects it, shoots, back. It's almost. I'm not saying he is this player, but I don't know if it reminds you a bit of Harry Kane, like.
Kind of, yeah. Where it's like he's not the most athletic. It's not, but like he's very like in control of his body, sort of thing. Like very, I don't know, well positioned. I don't know how to like put it, but
yeah. I know what you mean.
Physical posture, like it's nice and it sets him up for it. He's not off balance, like technique wise. He's decent. Yeah.
If he doesn't score, it's going to cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So off the ball, it's quite simple for him off the ball. He's very good off the ball. We talked about that. So on the ball, Delap is quite good at maintaining separation of shot reminiscent of Armando Broja. So they compare it to him. So he's got directional touches to deceive. So he's not a dribbler, but he's got that kind of deceptive way about him. Body feints, decent control while dribbling. Loves moving out wide to receive at times, which helps us in terms of what we're trying to do as well. But it's not his thing to do, essentially. And it shows some of his play as well. So he's continued that on. So you see him there taking on that. Is that on the left wing there and driving in? You see that little. That's pretty decent. Can you see that? I was wondering if my camera's gone off. So this works a treat for us. But I don't know about you, Steve. This reminds me a little bit of Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, that's why I said Barnes must have played in his youth as like a striker.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes, Harry Kane type of thing about him. He could do it on the right as well. There's a similar thing when he played for Hull. So not just a down the middle type of guy. He can also take it on the left or right flank and drive in with the ball. Decent with possession as well. You show him here as well, being able to hold up the ball, bang, finish first time. Really, really good stuff. Room for improvement. Can be seen in the last possession game mostly. He's a high-risk dribbler. So involving multiple dispossessions and miscontrols given his stature and build. So he's not an Isak. He's not you're not going to see him getting past 1-2 players and doing all of that, but he will take the risk, which I don't mind.
He might have to do that because he plays for Ipswich. He may have to do that less because he plays for us, if he were to play for us. And finally, more importantly, it'd be great if Delap's passing mostly focused on short passes or opposed to longer passes. That way, he would focus on running in behind and generating shots whilst also facilitating play with physicality and occasional channel running. I don't know if that means because he's playing for sides where he has to do a lot more work. So he has to, drop in and do the long balls, like a Harry Kane that did for Tottenham, for instance. But he doesn't have to drop in so much with Tonali and Bruno, right? Like, they could do that. They'll be like, it's okay, Delap. Like, it's okay, Liam. We've got this. So his profile is very, very interesting. Steve, I'm gonna show his highlights here in real, and just give me your kind of overall take. Let me share this up instead. So this is him this on Brazil Scout. I love Brazil Scout. I don't know about you, but I love Brazil Scout. And you must know these players. Obviously, Victor Gyökeres, Conrad Harder,
Fontesianikas,
Fontesianikas. I mean, what kind of players are these? Like he's been prepared.
I don't really know about the Gyökeres. Gyökeres is more pace. I'd say Gyökeres is more pace. Similar height, but I think Gyökeres is almost like he's more of a Kane rather than a Delap. I like the Dzeko one. I think I like a shorter Dzeko. Again, the way they move inside of the box in terms of what's it called? Just the finishes, the goals they score. They're very similar. Instinct. Yes. Dzeko always had instinct. I think that's his best attribute. And also, passing. I like the Dzeko.
You could see it.
Yeah. Gyökeres gets a hell of a lot of assists as well for a striker.
He does.
Not so much.
He does. That makes sense. And they've got him at 6'1", ambidexterity. So they got him as 2-footed.
Yes, he is. Yes. Yeah.
Body strength, very high technique, decent finishing. So he's
who else is ambidextrous, by the way? Dzeko. Dzeko's 2-footed.
You love that. You really enjoy that comparison, don't you? Like you're like, this is.
No, it makes sense.
Makes sense. So let me just play a few clips of him. Or get back on him and get your commentary on him, Steve. And like what you can. Oh gosh, sorry. Let me take that off. Fast forward a little bit, but I really like Brazil Scout.
Yeah, same here.
So they've got some of this Ipswich Day as well. So it's pretty current then. I think this is about a month ago. Yeah. So that we saw this one earlier. It's got a little body feint there coming off the flank. I think that's probably the peak of his dribbling there.
Yeah.
But the finishing.
First time finishing. Yeah.
First time finish. Poiski. No wonder he had such a great time on the under 18s. Again.
Great touch.
Great touch.
This is the Villa game. Yeah, that's a nice finish. It's a nice improvised finish. It's a really nice improvised finish.
Oh, brave. Even better.
Done.
Back heel.
Improvised finish. That's another thing I'd say about him. He's a very good improvised finisher.
Right. If I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, if Delap is the answer, what is the question that Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell are asking when they're looking at Delap, do you think?
You need a backup striker? I think it's as simple as that. And we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for if or and when Isak does head out.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. You need to have all our fronts covered there. So, and I think what's it called? Like I said, with Eddie Howe and strikers, he has a good track record with them throughout his career. Like they all do pretty well. So
go. Sorry,
I was just saying maybe In terms of, does he have enough Isaks that are kind of? Does he have enough attributes that are kind of similar to Isak? Yeah, with the running in behind and the finishing and all that stuff. I think it's there, and I think he offers a little bit more physically, whereas Isak dribbling wise, so it's like he matches 6 out of the 10 qualities, but then makes up for it where where one doesn't, Delap does. Delap's more physical. Isak's a better dribbler. You trade them, and
our team, the way our team is, I think it makes up for his weaknesses. He doesn't have to. Do you know what I mean? We want to press up high. Like he shoots us down to the bone, if that makes sense. I think he's great. I want to compare him to. So I've got a scorecard. So this final 10 minutes or so. Before I do this on scorecard, let me just make sure I see get people's chats in. So I'm going to compare it to a couple strikers, and we'll get your take on it before we end the show.
Yeah.
Adrian Pickett, get the adrenaline pumping again. I think that's for the game. Antagonizing Jordan Kubo, right wing would be a great signing. I've seen Kubo play a couple of times. So was that Steve?
No, I like Kubo a lot. Again, I think he would fit very well. Like off the ball, which is I think one of the more important things to be. I think definitely because he has that crossing ability, like of a level higher than Murphy's. The finishing and I see that working really well.
You rate him.
Yeah. He's more of a providing winger. He's not going to get you crazy goals, but he'll rack up. Yeah,
we need that. Yeah, makes sense because you can't have too many cooks. Everyone trying to finish.
Too many shoot. Yeah, you need a balance.
Too many shooters, like
providers. Yeah.
Antagonizing Jordy 3-1 to the Toon. Love that prediction. And also from Antagonizing Jordy, and Buemo could be perfect. Also can play as a centre forward and right wing, but I can't see it happening. Others are in for him. Yes, I suspect that we want an Buemo before he's in Buemo for Brentford. That's my suspicion for a right winger. Adrian Pickett, did Steve watch the recent? So, question for you, Steve: did Steve watch the recent Brazil games? And if so, how did J7 do?
Not good, to be honest. He played in a two-man midfield and had a lot of on-the-ball responsibilities and didn't have
enough. That's his thing.
Yeah, like they were horrible against Argentina. They got smoked by Argentina. That was bad. They didn't have any creativity in midfield. Yeah, they J7 did not do good, but nobody on Brazil did. Nobody.
All right. There you are, Adrian. Antagonizing Jordan reports also we have a bid for Dango Ouattara.
Ouattara, yeah.
I need to do a little bit more research on Dango. I don't know what your thoughts on him are, Steve.
I wouldn't go for him. I think he still needs to. I actually liked him. He was at Lorient. 2-ish years ago. I like him, but there's players I'd rather go for. I think he'll be if they sell Semenyo, then I think that'll be where I really kind of make my firm stance on him. But decent player. He is a decent player.
There you are. Aaron Guy, welcome to the show, sir. Guys, you need an FA Cup or Europa in terms of proper trophies. LOL. Okay. I can feel the jealousy seeping through the comments there, but I appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. Aaron Guy again. I hope so. LOL, Steve. You're my second team.
Big up, Aaron, man.
Big up, Aaron. Aaron Cave. Think Osola has a bigger contribution than we think next season. I agree. He needs to. Definitely need a striker, but that year working with Isak and Wilson will be valuable to him. I do agree with that. So I don't want to take too much time, but I wanted to do a final comparison, Steve. So let me make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, so this is scorecard. So first I'm going to let me get back on this. So this is obviously Isak. I was gonna compare Isak, Delap, and Thierno Barry. So I really like Thierno Barry. But let me just quickly do Isak and Liam Delap. This is not Isak. This is Hull. Let me get Hull Delap, not not the bigger Ipswich Delap, not Hull. I'm going to do a per 90. For you, Steve, I'm going to look at some metrics. Are there any metrics that you want to make sure we get on there in case I missed out? I'm not going to get too many. I want to get shot
Yes,
accuracy,
not accuracy.
which is probably the
Yeah,
same as
on
shot.
and off target. Yeah.
Goes from inside the box, outside the box, right foot, left foot.
Yeah.
Conversion rate, passing. I'll go for passing accuracy. I'm not fast too much. Maybe through balls, forward passes preferably. Passes.
Actually, yeah, through balls because Isak plays some freaking nice passes.
He
Sometimes.
does. I'm glad you
He
said that.
drops wide left. He in the final, he was playing some nice passes.
Yes. He was having fun. Duels take on overruns, duels contested. I've got dual success rate. Take on success rate. Sorry. Aerial dual success. And I'm gonna do ground dual success. Is there anything in the defense that I need? Interceptions, do you think? Okay, let me just include interceptions from the front. Otherwise, I think we've got all the metrics there. So let me do per 90. So that's total. Per 90. So obviously they're both attackers. This is from this season. Delap's played more games than Isak in the Premier League. This is the Premier League, obviously. 28 to Isak's 5. Isak's shot accuracy is 60. Again, I feel like it's almost unfair, but at the end of the day, you gotta. This is who he's going to be up against.
Yeah.
Shot accuracy is 68% for Isak, 58% for Delap, which is nothing to laugh at. Like that's pretty
decent.
good. That's decent. Isak's got more shots on target. He kills him with shots on target. Say kills him, but he beats him with shots on target, shots on as well as shots off target. He's got less. Has got more goals per 90 as well. And I'm keeping it in context of Isak's playing for a team that's competing for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Delap's playing for a team that's fighting relegation.
Yeah.
Got more non-penalty goals. Goals from inside the box for a team again that dominates a little bit more. Outside the box, they're about the same. More right foot goals.
Yeah.
Delap's is more again. What do you call it? Ambidextrous. You can see it. Right foot goals, left foot goals. He's your Zeko, isn't he? He's your Zeko. Conversion rate. Isak's conversion rate is through the roof. 38% to Delap's 21%. And that's not bad, you know. Like 21% is not bad. Like there's a lot of Premier League strikers are about 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
More passing accuracy from Isak as well. Layoffs as well. Now, interestingly, Delap's got more take on success. I thought it would be Isak, but Delap's got more take on success. And he, again, going to the physicality that you were talking about, he wins more aerial duels. And Isak just about pips into the ground duels. So I don't know what your initial take is from that, Steve, but the majority of metrics, Isak wins. Isak is obviously a more complete player, got more experience, and plays for a better team.
Yeah.
But I think, going back to your point about this being the year of Delap's improvement, I don't see him not improving on these.
Yeah, and a big part of that is going to be where he goes. You're only as good as the team that you play for in some instances, to be honest, and the environment around it and all that. I feel, and again, with Eddie Howe doing really well with striker start his career. different kinds of strikers, they usually do well. So, yeah, like I said, I would take Delap. I think 40 million could be, again, another potential bargain. Paul Mitchell knows what he's doing, kind of thing. I like the player. But yeah, I'm not mad at it if we bring him in. I also think if we did get Champions League, like whatever European competition we'll get, I feel like Liam Delap will get enough time, and especially in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, we've clearly wanted to go out and win those because we've done it with the Carabao. So Delap will get plenty of time.
Well, Newcastle play as of last couple of seasons nearly pretty much 50 games.
Yeah.
Right, so because we're getting to quarter, whether it's obviously last year we had an injury hit, but we still made it to the quarterfinals, FA Cup quarterfinals.
We're playing a minimum of 50 games next year.
Exactly, because we've got Europe. So you're
2 Carabao Cup games, 38 Premier League games. That's 40. To get into the conference, let's say we finish in one of the Conference League spots. There's 2 playoff games and then 8 games.
Well, we're already playing the Conference League because we won the League Cup, so we're definitely going to Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm saying that's the minimum.
That's the yeah.
So minimum, we're playing 48, 50 games.
Right.
Isak isn't going to play every single one of those.
No, especially the early rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, and while it's really good that Isak has improved his injuries, that can always unfortunately come back.
Yeah.
And Delap, for me, I'm not sure what his injury record is. I don't think he has one.
Great question. Let me just
Transfermarkt will have it. If you look up Transfermarkt.
Yeah, it's got the injury stuff. I remember stats.
I don't think he's been injured this year. I can't remember a time.
For the final part, I also want to ask you while I'm looking for the injury stats for Delap. I want to compare Delap to Thierno Barry, and I want you to think of the one striker you would like for Newcastle that if you want to compare him to as well. So who would that be for you? Who's the one striker?
Delap or Barry?
Yeah, but for yourself, like, so I'm gonna pick Thierno Barry to compare to Delap. Is there a striker that you would like to pick to compare to Delap? If there's the one striker you're like, it's gotta be him.
Look up Armand Kalimuendo.
For
Stade Rennais.
Okay, I'll do that. Let me I can't get this injury history record just for the
lab,
folks here. Let me just get his injury record. No, pretty good. I mean, he had 23, 24, 92 days out, 16 games. I think that was a knee injury, but that was like the only major injury, the only injury really he's had playing for Hull. Yeah. It's not bad.
No, not at all.
It happens. Like it's not bad. Okay, so you said to me, give me your player again. What's his name?
Arnaud, Arnaud.
The fact that you can even spell these guys' names, man. Arna.
Yeah. UD. Arna. Oh, there's an A before the U.
Okay. All right. Oh,
yeah.
No.
And then K. There you go, Kalimuendo. Yeah.
Where do you see him? Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So let me take off, and then I'll add.
I quite like Kalimuendo as well.
For Juventus.
No, Kalimuendo, not Kolomuani.
Oh, right. Got the big stop. Barry.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Barry. Good at the spelling. I'm like, I just remember Barry.
Oh, it's Thierno.
Here we go.
THIE. Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to take up Isak for a minute because it's going to be unfair for these guys. Right. So they've all played. Well, the Lats played 28 games. They've all played about the same amount of games, so it's not bad. Like they're all 24. This is all the 24-25 season. They're all young, by the way. How old is Arnold Kouam? If you're able to say Kalimuendo?
23. Kalimuendo. Yeah,
he's 23. Thierno Barry's about 22, 23 as well. So they're
Mhm.
all the same age, right? So they've all
Yeah.
played good amount of minutes as well. And games 28, 26, 27, fine. Right. So shot accuracy. Your man Muendo wins. Shot target, also Muendo. Shots off target, Muendo. Goals, Muendo. Or he's drawn shots off target with Delap, but fine. Goals, Muendo. He's having a great season, Muendo.
Yes, he is.
Non-penalty goals, Barry. Excuse me. Goals from outside the box, Delap. Right foot goals, Muendo. Left foot goals, equal with everybody else. So it's not bad from all of them. Conversion rate, Muendo. He's
Mhm.
about 5% off Isak. He's the bean. He's here. I have to look him up. Passes attempted, Muendo.
Mm.
Passing accuracy, Muendo. Sheesh. He's having a great season in red. Through
Yeah.
balls, Delap. Layups completed, Muendo. Passes completed, Muendo. Forward passes, Muendo. Take on success, Delap. Muendo's third behind Thierno Barry. Ground due success, Barry. And interceptions, Muendo. I've got to look up this Muendo guy.
He's
Is he
good.
tall? Do you know how tall he is? Or
He's only 5'9", but he is like he's like I don't know what would be a good player comp, but like he's all about like the movement and running in behind, and he's very good on the ball, very quick, kind of like anchor sort of thing.
let me see if I
Yeah,
can.
he's impressive, man.
I feel like I've taken up so much of your time, but let me just give him.
That's all good.
Let me skip a few here. Let me just see if I can get him on the screen, and you can describe him while we watch him. Kalimuendo, right? Am I spelling his name right? Can you see that?
Yeah,
Is that him?
yeah, Arno Kalimuendo. Yeah,
Here we go. He's on Brazil Scout as well, so that's a good start. If they've made it to Brazil Scout, it's good news for me. Let's see if I can. So Dave got him. See if you agree with this. So Dave compared him to Louis Openda, Eli Wahi, and He Chan.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
They've got him pace, finishing instinct, acceleration, heading, dribbling, athleticism, link-up play.
170 pounds.
170 pounds, 5'9",
You wouldn't
right?
think it watching him. He's strong. He's got
So he's
great
really strong.
determination. Yeah.
Oh, let me put it on pause there. Oh, he is about his dribbling, isn't he?
Yeah. That's
So is he a centre forward? What is he? Is
striker.
he versatile?
Yeah, he can
Striker.
play. He can play striker, second striker. Like right now, Stade Rennais are playing with a front two, the 3-5-2. They got this 6'4" striker at Rennes who's like 17. He's the hold up. I forget his freaking name. It's a nice pen. Good composure.
Yeah.
Way to PSG as well.
Nerves of steel.
Yeah.
Oh, nice hold up there. Boom. So what took your eye about him? What is it that you really like about him?
It's the impact he has on games. Like even when he doesn't have a great game, like you'll notice him like more often than not. He doesn't ghost in many games. And the variety of finishing, composure is definitely one of his strengths. That's also what I really
He played for
about.
France? He plays for France?
That's the youth.
The youth, okay.
Should be, to be honest.
He's got a good pedigree then, if he's played at the youth level.
That's a beautiful touch.
Lovely, lovely.
Spin, turn.
Is he left foot, right foot? Is he ambidextrous?
Left foot. Or sorry,
Left
right.
foot.
No, he's right. He's right. He's right. He's good with both though. That's a nice finish.
Great stuff. I can see why you like him. 3-5-2. I haven't heard that formation for ages.
Interplay with it.
Right.
Inzaghi.
Right. Lovely. I'll have to look him up further.
Yeah. No, I like Kalimuendo a lot.
Brilliant.
And like I said to you backstage, Newcastle, we love shopping in France. And we've gotten Botman and Bruno G are the two very important parts of our team. So, but yeah, this is the thing that annoys me, Philip. Like I watch, and I watch a ton of football and stuff, and people have the nerve to tell me they ain't strikers out there. It's crazy. There aren't players out. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying. By the way, all these guys won't be superstar successes.
Yeah.
But like, if you get them in the right system at the right club, like
I think it's a sentence when people say there's no strikers in the market, like that they've seen the market. Just if you just say I haven't seen any strikers, then that's cool. Like that means you personally, from the games that you've watched, haven't seen it. It doesn't mean that there isn't out there.
Like maybe you're not like sold on Delap or whatever the hell. Like
yeah.
But when people say there's none, like, what are you talking about? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, I don't know, Liverpool bought Kalimuendo and he scores 20 next year. Wow, then people will be like, "Wow, where did they find this?" like, and keep in mind, Isak's numbers. He had like one decent.
He had 6 goals. The season that we bought him, he only scored 6 goals.
Yeah.
The season we bought him.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
for scouting, that's why you pay your scouts the money.
That's why you pay your scouts the money.
But yeah.
Steve, you have been absolutely amazing. Wealth of knowledge.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man, for having me on.
I've enjoyed this preview so much. And the chat, you guys have been absolutely incredible. I want to say thank you to Aaron Guy, to Antagonizing Jordan, Adrian Pickett, Aaron Cape, Consistent Mag FC, been incredible as always. The Mats channel, thank you for joining us. See the Yak, incredible stuff as well. From you, Liam Knowles, right in the beginning. Great to have you, sir. Natalie, always good to have you on. And I think that's most of the folks here. Guys, you've been absolutely incredible. We did our tactical breakdown for the Brentford game. Really went into depth for them. Also gave our predictions for the game. But we also did our profiling and scouting, some armchair scouting for Mr. Delap, and matching him to your who did we match with? Thierno Barry, Isak, and Kalimuendo, who I hadn't heard before, if it wasn't for Steve as well. So really appreciate Steve. Steve, let folks know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Strasbourg Steve on YouTube. I do watch-alongs pretty much every weekend. That's where I primarily do most of my football coverage and that. So, yeah, that's where you'll find me. But thank you again for having me, bro. I've enjoyed this.
I'm really, really hoping to have you back
of course.
as well.
Yeah.
The chat as well. So, guys, you've been absolutely incredible. Make sure you have a great evening. Make sure you get some sleep and have a great week. As always, guys, take care of each other and God bless, folks.